Hello everyone, my name is Emma Rabbit. I'm a CYT 200E and today we're going to talk about balance. So this sequence is designed to help you strengthen your core and work on some balance shapes without being at risk of falling or face planting or whatever you're afraid of. So, going to get started. Thanks for joining me today. So lately I've been starting my practice with some preliminary movement before I try and get myself to be still for breathing and centering. Here I'm setting up for child's pose. I encourage you to use any props that make you more comfortable. Today I'm going to use a tiny block. It's a 3-inch wide block underneath my forehead right at the bridge of my nose. You can also roll up a blanket or a towel or a sweatshirt to place right at your ankles. If your hips don't get down that far, you can also have a blanket underneath knees or ankles to help support any areas that might not feel good. If this shape doesn't resonate with you or is not comfortable for any reason, I encourage you to take any shape or movement that does. This is just how I'm choosing to warm up today. As I work deeper into the pose, could remove the block, taking a couple of deep breaths into the belly. Now I'm going to start moving slowly towards table, which is just being on all fours. So you can see I'm still using that prop underneath my knees for support. My palms are just under or a little wider than my shoulders, and my knees are just under or a little wider than my hips. You can have the tops of your feet pressed into the mat, or you can curl the toes under for more balance. Going to do a little cat-cow, and in either shape you can shake your hips or make a circle with your tailbone on the wall behind you. Just bringing motion into spine and hips. This is a pelvic exercise, so just moving the neck and the cervical spine last. Can move slowly towards any comfortable seated position. I'm just taking my time getting set up. Maybe for you that's crossed legs or legs out in front of you. Maybe your feet are flat on the mat with your knees bent and your arms wrapped around them. Can take any other kind of motion to get the energy out. And try to come to the most effortless seat possible. So whatever you can do to make yourself comfortable, please do that. Going to start drawing some awareness to the breath, bringing the breath into the belly, maybe even placing the hand on the belly to feel the expansion of the inhale and the compression of the exhale. Now you can stay right here with this breath, or after the next inhale you can bring the air to the lungs so you'll feel the ribs expand to the sides of the body. So belly is full, lungs are full. The last step is we move the breath to the chest, so you may feel your chest push forward or lift towards your face. And see if you can exhale in the reverse. So the chest will lower first, and then the ribs compress to spine, and then belly button compresses to spine. I can't always do it, but it's fun to try. Whichever breathing exercise you chose is perfectly fine. We're going to draw the breath back into the belly. And bring the arms out in front, parallel to the ground. We're going to draw attention to the fingers. So maybe you bend at each knuckle. Maybe you make fists and then press through the palms. Maybe you wiggle your fingers. Can circle the wrists or do a wrist press. Bend the elbow, still breathing here. And bring some motion into the shoulders. So maybe for you that looks like rolling one or both forward or back. Maybe it looks like squinching your shoulders up to your ears and then letting them down. Any kind of upper body joint movement that you'd like to take here, you're welcome to do. I'm going to place a block on my side. You can bring palm to or forearm to mat or block. Just going to reach over one direction. Now see, maybe if you'd like to try and get that same hip pushing down towards the mat as you reach. If that's too much, you can always come out. Now you can hold here, stretching out, or you can make shapes of any size with that arm. So maybe you're making little circles with your hand, maybe you're doing really big shoulder swings. Just paying attention to what feels good. This is my favorite shoulder warm-up right now, so rolling back to center, maybe you notice your body feels different side to side. We'll get set up on the other side again. Palm or forearm can be to block or mat. If you don't have blocks, you can use books. You can use stacks of anything sturdy. Again, just reaching and pressing that same hip down towards the mat. Maybe you're doing some arm motion here, or maybe you're just reaching overhead. And we'll come back up to center. Any other kind of upper body motion or warm-up you'd like to take here? We're going to bring the feet to the mat with knees bent, and your hands are going to be on the mat behind you so they can face towards your body or away. Going to lift the feet in the air, lower body warm-up. So we're going to wiggle the toes, point and flex the feet. Can circle the ankles one direction and then the other. Bringing motion into knee and hip, so maybe you're pedaling forward or to each side. Just thinking about doing a full hip rotation in each hip joint. You can also let go with your hands and kind of do like a little pedal. It's a little harder for abs. Can come back down to rest. Bringing the feet flat on the mat. Going to hold underneath the knees and draw ourselves up nice and tall. Sternum drawn towards heels. Two ways to get into this. You can lift one foot and then the other, or peel your feet off the mat. You want your legs at a 90-degree angle with your feet separated from one another. Nice. Now you can hold here with your hands underneath your knees. You can also let go if you can keep that ab engagement, keeping your back flat and straight. I might try it, yeah. If you'd like more challenge and can hold this shape, you can bring your arms overhead or straighten your legs. Good job. Bring heels to mat. That's a tough one. You can take any motion or shape you like to release. Maybe you let your knees fall side to side like windshield wipers of a car. Just shaking it out. We're going to come onto hands and knees again, so I'm going to get set up with my blanket under my knees. Taking time to be comfortable. Going to do a little cat-cow to shake off the up boat we just did. And whatever shape you want to take here is fine. Maybe you do child's pose or anything else. So from table, going to press one foot into the mat behind you, pressing down into the palms or pressing shoulders into arm bones, so you're really stable through the shoulder and not sinking into that grounded hip and knee. Going to lift that leg off the mat, toes pointing down. Now if this is what you want to do, you can just stay right here. I'm placing a block on my back to make sure that my hips are straight and balanced. This is also something that we do in Warrior 3, roughly same shape. Alright, now you can draw the opposite arm out in front of you if you want to. When we're holding here, you can see that my toes are curled under. The top of your foot can also be flat on the mat, whatever helps you balance. I'm going to remove the block because we're going to do some bird dog. So we're going to draw elbow and knee to meet underneath. The head can curve towards your body, and then pushing back out towards opposite sides of the mat. If this feels hard, that's because it is. And maybe you're starting to notice how your balance is feeling today. It's different side to side, it's different every day. Alright, I think I'm going to do 5, and then we can bring hands and knees to mat, yeah, and shake it out. Cat-cow, child's pose, any kind of movement or shape. If your wrists are bothering you, you can make fists that point inwards, or you can always bring forearms to blocks in front of you. Alright, going to get set up on the other side. Opposite foot presses back into the mat behind us. Again, lifting through the arms and shoulders, not sinking into that grounded knee and hip. Then lifting the foot off the mat, toes pointed towards the mat. Can hold here. Can bring opposite arm in line with the ear or out to the side like a T. And if you want to do bird dog on this side, you can. So bicep in line with ear, we're going to draw knee and elbow to meet underneath, and then reaching back out towards opposite corners of the mat. So you can see that my balance is different on this side. I'm definitely less flexible. I'm also less stable in that right hip. I have less flexibility in my left hip. And maybe your body feels different side to side too. Maybe your balance feels different on this side. You have a different range of motion. Just acknowledging and honoring that difference. Anything you'd like to take to shake it out? I did a little bit of cat-cow wiggle and gonna go for child's pose. Deep breaths into the belly. Next we're going to do a little runner's lunge. I really like this shape, although I'm not awesome at it. I use blocks. So, blocks at the top of your mat, and you're going to step one foot in between your hands. Whatever that looks like for you, totally fine. We're going to start with a little heart opener, so bringing the body up and tucking the tailbone towards the earth might feel stretch in that front quad. Arms down by your side or perhaps even behind your back. Creating some space in the torso, between the shoulders, in the ribs. Now this I'd like to do with breath. So you can inhale or exhale that front knee bent, and then exhale or inhale back. Whatever works for you. We're just going to roll in and out a couple times. So maybe stay here bending and straightening that front knee. Maybe you walk your blocks back to straighten that front leg. Maybe you come all the way down to be seated. All options are good. Just exploring different sensations of stretch in both hips and legs. I use blocks to help me roll forward. Maybe your flexibility, your range of motion allows you to have the blocks on a lower setting, or to just put hands on the mat. That's great. When you're done with your stretch, can bring both knees to the mat, other foot in between hands. We'll start again with that little heart opener. Tailbone tucked towards the earth, belly button drawn into spine. Arms may be down by your sides or behind your back. And maybe noticing how your balance feels in this shape too. So trying to balance between that knee and that front foot. That back foot can be curled under if that helps you. Can grab our blocks and we'll start our lunge again. So again, moving with breath, maybe inhaling forward and exhaling back. Now our bodies are not symmetrical. Maybe you can tell that my stretch is different on this side, and maybe yours is too. So like before, just noticing that difference, honoring that the different sides of our bodies need different things. There's different areas of soreness or tightness, tension. Maybe you have an injury on one side that requires a special modification. So we're going to start with a version of Warrior One that has the knee down. So we'll press into that front foot and walk the hands up the body, coming upright. And then you can do whatever you like with your arms. So maybe they're down by your side or up overhead. Tucking tailbone towards the earth, trying to balance your weight evenly between that front foot and the back knee. You can take a deep breath into the belly. If you'd like to do the standing shape, you can bring both palms to the mat in front of you. You can curl under back toes and lift the knee off the mat. Coming into a low lunge. Yep. Then pressing weight into that front foot, can use your hands to walk your body upright and your torso upright. I'm going to move my blanket because I need to shorten my stance. You can always change your stance for balance and comfort. All 10 toes facing the front side of the mat. So that front knee is bent in alignment with the with the ankle. That back heel we're guiding back down towards the mat. Your arms can be whatever shape. Feels comfortable. Trying to push your 2 feet towards one another. Going to press our weight into our front foot. Bring hands and knees to the ground. Going to swap out legs. Oh, can shake it out, and then we'll swap out legs. We're going to start Warrior One on this side, again beginning with the grounded knee. So maybe those back toes curl under to help with balance. Tucking tailbone towards the earth, you might feel a quad stretch in that grounded leg. You can do whatever you like with your arms. Maybe one or both move overhead or down by your side. Maybe your hands are at your hips for balance. Again, an option to come up here, palms to mat, back toes curl under, back knee lifts. Gonna keep that front knee in alignment with our ankle. The back knee can bend just a little bit until the spine goes straight, and then trying to press just the heel back down towards the mat. Maybe your arms do something different on this side. You can take a deep breath into the belly and decide what you'd like to do. You can bring hands to thigh, weight in the front foot, and step the back foot up to meet it. Gonna pause for a moment in mountain, or you can shake it out. We're going to face the long side of the mat, taking a step as wide as your wrist. So arms out to the sides, big step, nice. Right toes turn to the right, and then that left heel and foot can adjust for comfort and balance. I'm guilty of my hips being askew, so I'm going to straighten my hips and bend and straighten the front knee. Nice. Don't want to let it go past the toes. Maybe you involve some arms, maybe they float up and down, or maybe they hold. I have my palms up because it helps my shoulders stay down. Your head can face any way that's comfortable. Going to straighten that front knee, left hips to the left, right fingertips reaching out to the right as far as you can. And then we're just going to windmill the arms to 6 and 12. So not collapsing through the waist. Reaching towards the ground or towards the sky with both hands. Trying to scrunch up the mat underneath your feet, dragging your heels towards one another without moving. You can take any kind of motion you like to come out. And we'll get set up on the other side. So left toes point to the left. Right heel adjusts for balance and comfort. Hips not askew. Nice. Can bend and straighten the left knee. Maybe with arms out parallel. Maybe they come up and hold, or maybe they float up and down. Your choice, your practice. This time we'll just hold. Again, you can face any direction that feels comfortable for your neck. So maybe you look over your fingertips, or maybe you look straight ahead. Trying to move your heels towards one another without actually moving your feet. Now we'll shift right hip towards the window. Left fingertips reaching. When you've reached as far as you can windmill your arms to 6 and 12 like hands on a clock. Can look up at your hand, straight ahead or down. Reaching through those right fingertips can bring the arms back to parallel. Everything can come down and shake it out. I'm giving myself a big hug. Nice. That's our session on balance today. Thank you so much for joining.